There's a ghost in the forests of Madagascar, an elusive predator that hunts with ease both on the ground and through the trees. It's gained a ferocious reputation with village folklore, even though it kinda looks like someone tried to draw a cat from memory and ended up drawing a weasel. Roughly the size of a beagle, this short king rules the island, keeping the local lemur population on edge. This is the Fossa. Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and this is our co-host, Taylor Schuldeis.
Hi, I'm Taylor Schuldeis, and you're watching Animalogic. The Fossa are the largest native carnivores in Madagascar. They're apex predators and move like shadow figures, and can take down adult lemurs their own size. In fact, they're the only predator on the island capable of hunting every species of lemur, which is very inclusive of them. The Fossa are opportunistic hunters, meaning they'll eat anything with a heartbeat. Rodents, wild pigs, reptiles, birds, you name it. But they have a real soft spot for lemurs, which make up more than 50% of their diet. The type of lemur they'll hunt is relative to the area of the forest, but common ones are the sifakas, red-tailed sportives, or mouse lemurs. Overall, the rule is, the bigger the better.
The larger haul of meat a lemur provides means a more substantial meal. So, Fossa have evolved all the tools they need to be the lemur's worst nightmare. Fossas are semi-arboreal. They split their time stalking the forest floor and bounding through the trees, meaning a high-speed chase through the canopies is no big deal for them. And to make matters worse for the lemurs, they've been reported to very occasionally hunt cooperatively, like our friend and carnivore expert, Dr. Asia Murphy, tells us.
Just really, really cool animals. I think maybe the most interesting thing I learned about them that changed my perception of them was that in the West, they'll hunt together, like in packs. There's been records of like 2 to 3 males hunting in formation and taking down bigger lemurs. Usually you think of like a weasel being independent, but it can be gregarious, I guess is the word.
Dr. Murphy studies not only Fossas, but also even less well-known carnivores of Madagascar like phanolocas. But we'll do a proper episode about them another time. Anyways, back to Fossas and their hunting prowess. They're sneakily hefty and weigh up to 10 kilos and have a body that's about twice as long as a cat's. They're basically built like a small ferret puma. Their semi-retractable claws can easily grip branches, allow them to hang upside down and remain at the ready to snatch fast-moving prey. They have ankle joints that can rotate almost 180 degrees, which means they can maneuver high perches or climb headfirst down tree trunks like giant murder squirrels. Oh, and a monkey-like tail that's almost the same length as their body. You know, for balance. This hodgepodge of spare animal parts is certain to make anyone go,
Hey, what the heck?
and more importantly, why the heck is this thing?
Their family lineage confused scientists for a long time. Was it closer to a cat, a civet, a weasel? Finally, in 2003, it was placed in a class exclusive to the carnivores of Madagascar. It's believed that they all come from the same primitive mongoose who got marooned on the island millions of years ago and then split into a bunch of different species, a process called evolutionary isolation. The prehistoric Fossa were giant compared to the modern-day Fossa, but I'm sure they'd be pleased to know that they're still the big dogs on the island. Speaking of sizes of things, it's impossible to discuss Fossa without mentioning one of its more impressive features. Guys, we need to talk about Fossa genitals.
If you thought its tail was big for its body, the average Fossa male has a penis that can grow between 17 to 20 centimeters long, currently holding the Guinness World Record for the largest mammalian penis relative to body size. But why?
Why?
Why would it need to be so long?
Why? Fossa mating rituals are a delicate balance, quite literally. They have to balance on tree branches while doing the deed. Length really comes in clutch for remaining in place, so to speak. The penis is even stabilized with a baculum. A penis bone. A bone in the penis. A bit of internal scaffolding to keep things sturdy. It can take a male up to 3 hours to transfer its sperm, and slip-ups are a real concern. It also stops the female fossa from ending the session prematurely, which may be something she's tempted to do since her vocalizations during mating sound like the whole process is a painful one. So why not just do everything on stable ground? Why use the trees if it means the evolution of a nightmare penis? Well, it's because the competition for mating is stiff. Okay, sorry.
Fossa are polyandrous. One female will mate with multiple males in succession over the course of a week before another female takes her place. To avoid being overwhelmed, she perches in a tree, forcing the gathering herd of males below to battle it out and impress her as a worthy mate. The added obstacle also means rival males are less able to interfere with an active mating session, though it can still happen. Yet another reason to have a locking mechanic in place. It really doesn't sound easy to be a lady fossa, but if it makes you feel any better, their downstairs parts are even more of a wonder than the males.
When the female fossa are younger, their clitorises protrude and have spikes of their own, mimicking the penis of the fossa male. It's like having a disguise, possibly to keep them safe from sexually aggressive males and older territorial females. As they reach sexual maturity, this pseudopenis shrinks until it's gone. This penis disappearing act is called transient masculinity, and it's completely unique to the fossa. Look, I know we've spent a lot of time talking about their privates, but we can't move on until we talk about their name.
Fussa's full government name is Cryptoprocta ferox. Cryptoprocta means hidden anus, referring to a hanging sac containing their anal glands. While the concept of a butt pouch is undoubtedly funny, it's a big factor in Fossa communication, and it's provided researchers an exciting breakthrough in our ability to learn more about them.
Our friend Dr. Francesca Marucco, a fossa expert and researcher, told us all about this amazing behavior.
I think what was very interesting was one thing that I think we discovered. It's like their amazing marking behavior. They have some glands here in between the legs, and they really scroll on some marking points to mark the area with the hormones, and the behavior and how they do it is really amazing. And once you discover the types of spots they really like to mark, then if you put camera traps there, you're sure you're gonna catch them. So this is something we learn at the beginning. We were using just trails because carnivores like to move on trails and mark on crossings. But then this behavior was just amazing to watch. And so we started also to look for the genetic material on these marking spots. So we are taking now pieces of barks or pieces of these spots to take the DNA from the fossa and mark the different individuals and understand also how they move from the individual identification through genetic analysis. So this was something we didn't expect, and we just started working with that. They also kind of grab like a tree and just scroll on the tree. They are just, and that was not expected.
Yep, I wasn't expecting that. But it makes sense. The anal pouch contains incredibly potent and musky-smelling scent glands that secrete a reddish-orange substance, staining their undercoats. Fossa have been documented rubbing their abdomen and anal region on logs and rocks, leaving this residue behind. Sort of like when a dog drags its butt across the carpet. It's all a way of saying to other fossa, this spot's taken. They're territorial creatures, after all, that move around frequently, so doing this maps out property lines. They've also been seen clawing tree trunks, leaving marks that serve the same purpose.
These markings are a gift to researchers and scientists, a goldmine of stinky orange goo. See, the fossa are hard to pin down. Any researcher will tell you, seeing them in person is near impossible. The fossa are cathemeral. They move or sleep whenever they want. And when they do move, they're capable of covering large ranges, even up to 26 kilometers in a single day. Combine that with how spread out their population is, and the challenges of researching in the huge forests of Madagascar, and it's no wonder that a lot of the available footage we have is from zoos.
But the discovery of these markings is like finding an X on a treasure map. They clearly indicate locations where fossa are camping out and a prime spot for setting up trap cameras, resulting in more footage. A huge advantage for studying them in the wild without human interference.
The footage is a big help with building information on behavior and locations, but it's not exact for figuring population size, especially since the fossa fashion sense is to keep it simple. They have reddish short coats that are beautiful, but very plain. Unlike animals such as the ring-tailed Votsira, they lack identifiable markings to help differentiate between them.
Meaning, they all look the same. And since they travel solo, it can be a struggle to know if you're seeing multiple fossa or just the same one over and over again. It's not like they're wearing little hats to tell them apart, but man, it would be so cool if they had little hats. That orange residue strikes again. Because by collecting and testing it, along with scat analysis, biologists can use the info to better estimate numbers.
Their population is believed to be around 2,800 and decreasing every year. And with their slow growth rate, that's placed them on the vulnerable species list. All because of their biggest threat, us. The island of Madagascar has a human population of over 33 million. And where there's humans, there's agriculture. As population sizes grow, so do farm fields, encroaching into and fragmenting the fossa's home. Never mind logging and deforestation, which has destroyed nearly 90% of their habitat.
Humans have also introduced another obstacle: domestic pets, specifically cats and dogs. And with any ecosystem, disruptions to the balance can be devastating. Human pets can introduce new diseases to a fossa's immune system it isn't equipped to combat. They're also an unexpected competitor for food, as some dogs have been known to travel into the forest in packs to hunt.
This interference to their food supply has forced the fossa to get creative, which hasn't helped their public image. The fossa are already an unwelcome presence by the locals. Their folklore depicts them as a type of boogeyman, something to fear that will even steal your children in the night.
Fossa is considered by local people a predator. So it might catch chickens. So it's not a species that people love in the area. That's kind of typical of predators. So it's very, very important to involve the locals, both in the study of the fossa and also in the restoration project that we have, because of course the most important part is protecting the habitat where the fossa is living. So the locals are the one that are totally involved in the restoration project, in putting the camera traps, in setting, so the guides are all from the local village. And they are very, very knowledgeable, but at the same time is very key that they understand the beauty that they have. They need to, start loving their environment. And I think that they are doing that. Like the majority of the people of the village next to the area is involved in every research project and activity. And they really understand now the value of what they have.
Fossas don't pose a threat to humans. They do pose a threat to their livestock, though, with chicken coops being a common target. They'll scavenge villages in the night, searching for food, even digging through trash. So even locals who don't fear them still see them as a pest that needs to be exterminated, resulting in retaliatory killings. They're also hunted by the hunter-gatherers, who will consume their meat, though this is less common.
Eating fossa meat is considered taboo or fatty by the locals, as they're believed to scavenge the bones of buried ancestors. All in all, it's a PR nightmare, which is a huge problem. The local opinion about fossa makes it hard to get them on board with conservation efforts. As much as they're seen as ferocious killers, They're just animals trying to survive like the rest of us. And they play an integral role on the island's ecosystem. Losing them could mean losing the overall biodiversity that allows people to eat and live. The Fossa control the populations of rats and pigs on the island, which in turn keeps them from destroying crops.
Dr. Luke Dollar, one of the leading Fossa researchers, started an education project in 2014 with the mantra, "Save the Fossa, save the harvest." He knew community outreach was essential to conservation efforts, an opinion shared by other conservationists, like Dr. Francesca Marucco. A better reputation can only do so much. With nowhere to live, the Fossa's numbers will continue to decline. The University of Torino is currently working with the government in Madagascar, not only to expand the protected areas of the forest habitats, but to help with the restoration efforts as well. Of course, none of this would be possible without the efforts of the local guides and volunteers, which have been invaluable to the researchers' understanding of the Fossas in the wild. Because of their work, since 2015, the Marumizaha Natural Reserve has been officially recognized as a protected area of national importance.
With the help and support of these organizations, we can work with locals towards sustainable tourism options that keep protected areas intact. Also, alternatives to subsistence agriculture to reduce expanding farm fields. And in some cases, enlarging their habitat.
There is a connection, important connection that is made by the University of Torino, also by the other team I'm working with the Lemurs. And the idea is that it would be very important to enlarge the protected area, especially if we could also document that the presence of very endangered species are also outside this area. At the same time, restore part of the area that has been totally cut off because there is a very important deforestation activity, in Madagascar. So altogether, the scientific data can improve this kind of management actions. Of course, it always depends on the politics and willingness, but this reserve has already started in this way based on the data and research. So we are confident that maybe we can hope for enlarging the area and at the same time, restoring an important corridor.
Groups like Fondation Segre, University of Torino DBIOS, GERP, and Open Nature work tirelessly to improve Fossa conservation by reducing threats both directly to the species and to their habitat. Of course, this requires understanding the animal, so facts distribution, population numbers, and feeding ecology help them tailor more effective ways of protecting Fossas. And since they're so hard to see, this requires massive restoration activities and trap cam programs that researchers like Federica Avasani are working on daily.
Education campaigns are also crucial in getting the locals to support conservation measures. Training them to become part of the research, conservation, and management teams is necessary for the long-term success of the project. So all in all, improving the habitat, making locals like and care about the Fossas, and learning everything there is to know about these mysterious creatures are the key elements to Fossa conservation. It sounds hard, because it is, but that's why so many people are working together to achieve these goals.
The Fossa have proven themselves to be adaptable, able to survive in a variety of conditions, as they're present in many forest types. Intelligent and cunning, there's hope the Fossa can bounce back. So, let's hope these rulers of the forest continue to have a long reign. So, what should we talk about next?
Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every week. Thanks for watching! See ya!